Humility, John. Yeah, no, that humility never sets in with John. Nice teleprompter in the background, by the way.
Sometimes, can you see it?
Yeah.
I can move it, but I like to have it in there.
Well, yeah. I mean, people have to know that you have to read half of the stuff that you talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, that would explain nothing. Apparently, either it's all in Chinese then, or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate to be joined by a good, longtime friend of mine, family member. We've known each other.
We're all going to the
years.
Dells together.
Oh my gosh.
The Dells?
We could just go on. I made notes of things we could talk about but I keep forgetting half the stuff to write down. So I can, I'm actually going to add to it as we go.
And folks, John is just writing right now. He's not trying to ignore the camera.
I'm not doing anything.
It's a very nice hat because that's all we can see right now, John.
My hat is perfect then. If you cannot see my face, the hat is doing its job. Yes. So just let me introduce my buddy, Leonard Bankhead. Leonard has been a bud. We've worked together. We have definitely played together and known each other.
And we're going to be hearing about all those stories on today's episode.
And I only hope that there will be enough that it's not just between us, Leonard, but if it is, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, I'm just going to be sitting here smiling and nodding, which is what I do most of the time.
You are not. I want to draw you into this because some of this stuff is going to surprise you. And
do you really think it's going to surprise me at this point, John?
All right, good point. You won't be surprised by any of it, but you'll laugh.
He'll be surprised by the ending. There's always a surprise ending.
Okay, nice. I'm looking forward to that. And Leonard, welcome. And one thing we didn't explain before we hit record, you're going to notice in the upper left-hand corner of your video screen, you're going to see our little connection icon there. We're like, right now, yours might be red with an exclamation point. Don't worry about the recording.
Okay, got it.
Everything is recording to your hard drive, and then we steal the contents of your hard drive. So don't worry about that.
Can you put some money in there?
Absolutely not.
I would like to steal the contents of that particular hard drive. Okay, so let's start, Leonard, with stuff that you've been doing recently, and you are known far and wide on Instagram for your baking prowess because he posts, Nick, pictures of stuff.
Oh, I know.
And
I follow now.
Okay, so it's stuff he tries, and some of it, I got to believe you have no intention to eat ever, but give it away. I'm pretty sure of that. But talk about some of your favorites of the hundreds that you've probably posted.
Well, let me start from the beginning. Obviously, we've all gone through this pandemic for almost 2.5 years now. Again, John, you've known me for a long time. I've always been a ridiculously busy person. So the pandemic slowed me down to a crawl. And so I had kind of a wish list of things I wanted to always learn how to do. And just like everybody else, I want to learn how to make bread and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I really wanted to learn how to make these things. My grandmother probably has been passed almost 20 years now. So I spent a ton of time in the kitchen just watching her. I never cooked with her. I just watched her. And so when she passed, I got a lot of her cookbooks. And so I just started going through the cookbooks and through her recipes. She had a cookie book so old, it didn't have butter in it, it had lard.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Just like
nice.
There we go. So on a Friday night, I'd pull up a recipe, I'd get a glass of wine, and I would just try it. And John knows me, I'm a creative person. So I'll look at the recipe once and I'll make it like it's supposed to be made, and then all that shit's out the window. I'm just
doctor it up.
You cook a lot like me. I love it.
These are delicious cookies. Wait, is that brandy? Of course it's brandy.
Exactly. And so it just became, with the stress of the pandemic and kind of being trapped in and work and all these things, it was something that I didn't need anybody for. I didn't need anybody's permission. I didn't need anybody's help. I just came home, got the wine, got the book out, and started making. And it just started from there. And so every Friday night, I make something new. Past Friday, I made pita bread, which I'd done before, but I made it again. You were talking about some of my favorites. Because again, people are following me. I actually invented a cookie a couple of weeks ago. Not a couple of weeks ago, probably maybe a month or so. The bumpy cake cookie. I Googled bumpy cake cookie, and bumpy cake cookie does not exist.
Huh.
So technically, I invented it from several different books, several different recipes, farted around, went on the old interwebs, and got black cocoa. So that's where you get that rich, deep color from. And people are like, "Oh my God, you got to sell those and this, that, and the other." And then the last thing I remember I made, I think it was the caramel covered apple fritter, which I made for my parents.
Yeah.
And
that
one was probably pretty dangerous. But you're right in your original line of questioning. I actually make things without actually tasting them a lot of times. And
so before I was going to say, before we ask why, I want to point out one thing that my mom always taught me before I started cooking, because I cook a lot too. I think John may have shared that with you, but the very first thing she always said is get a glass of wine. That's how you have to start every experiment. It always starts with a glass of wine.
I get nervous about cooking a lot of times because you want it to turn out. I can't tell you how many things I've made and they just went right into the garbage. And so
just like this podcast.
You overthink it. You overthink it. And so the glass of wine takes the edge off and you can just freestyle.
Yeah.
So
very nice.
The only difference about cooking in Wisconsin is that we use brandy old fashions. So that's
There he goes with the brandy old fashioned.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's how it is in Wisconsin. And you order drinks with brandy in them. People go, "Are you from Wisconsin?" Yes. Have you been to the Dells? And then of course the conversation goes on.
So
it's cool. You know how I've seen some cool stuff that you've made. I'm sorry, Dick, go ahead.
You know how brandy got its start, though.
Oh boy, here we go.
She's
a fine girl. I know that.
Wow.
Wine.
See, I'm old too.
No, it started as wine that they condensed and put it in barrels to
to survive
add
the
more
ships.
water to survive the ships. Exactly. So that's it's still wine. It's still wine. That was kind of my whole point to that.
It sure is.
Yep. And for those of you who are just listening to the podcast, John is nodding yes. He's big and emphatic nods. Yes.
Never nods yes when Dick says something, even if it's true.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Instill a little doubt. I don't know. John did not say yes.
John did not say yes. So Leonard, why don't you taste the food?
It's the weirdest thing when I cook. As you're cooking, if you cook, you're tasting things, ingredients, and you're doing different things. But by the time I'm done making it, I'm not hungry for it. No, I may taste it the next day.
Yeah.
Or but as you go along, I'll taste, part of it, but the complete dish, I don't.
I am totally nodding my head in case we just have listeners and not viewers, because that's how I am too. And I get that. It's when somebody prepares a meal for you, especially a meal or whatever the baked good is, then it's delicious. But I didn't have to put it together. I didn't even think about that, but that is very much how I am too. It's not that it's terrible or anything. When you go, "Oh, isn't this good?" But you get tired of it. I'm with you.
Right.
And then my whole thing is the satisfaction of making it, because I never cook hungry. I always eat before I cook, or eat before I bake, or drink, which helps. That keeps you from being hungry as well. But
that's like the reverse of George Carlin. George Carlin used to do grocery shopping. He said, "I don't eat for 2 days, smoke 4 joints, and go shopping."
I would love to follow him around the grocery store.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'd love to have had the money he had to be able to go and do that at the grocery store.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And
I think he was
not
very
get
successful
thrown
with podcasts. That's how he got rich.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Did you say podcast?
podcasts.
Podcast.
Oh,
well
now
done.
we have an idea.
Potty
I'm
mouths.
always
Yeah, I like
thinking.
PoddiMouths. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I had the logo set for you.
I don't smoke, but I like the smell.
Hold on, let me screenshot
Yeah,
that.
just like the smell, and I'm not going to inhale it. No.
That's why they make gummies, my friends.
That's so. If you would like to follow Leonard on Instagram, which you can, at Leonard Bankhead.
That's me.
There might even be a link on our website at some point.
Oh!
Give it about 6 months before I get it up there, but there might actually be a link.
Nice.
Because Nick is on it.
Right on
I am
schedule.
on it. Exactly.
Yes, at Leonard Bankhead, Bankhead, just like it sounds.
Just like it sounds.
Okay,
I love
your
it.
mom just had a birthday, Leonard. Did you know that?
Did I know that?
Did Leonard know that? I'd hope he'd know that.
You know, that's what Facebook is for. I don't remember anybody's birthday. That's what Facebook is for. They give you a reminder, and you're on it. I can't remember birthdays. Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. I'm usually a very early adopter of technology, especially if you compare me to a lot of my friends, not everybody, but a lot of them. And for at least a couple of years after I adopted both Facebook and putting stuff in my calendar ahead of time, my digital calendar, and I would get those alerts at so-and-so's birthday, and then I'd send them a text message and say, happy birthday. And like, how do you remember everyone's birthday so well? I just have a really good brain, I guess. It's just one of those things. Now they all figured it out. Exactly. Now they've all figured out my little trick. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm so talented.
So
and humble.
You are talented.
Very humble.
I'm not sure about that. So one of the things that Leonard and I did together was we were on distance learning courses for an OEM.
EMU.
Probably doesn't have to remain nameless, but yes. he said emu.
Emu.
So yeah, and it was great because he was I guess technical director, or director.
I was
in the
producer.
studios.
Thank you very much.
I meant producer because
don't
they
get
make
that
way
wrong,
more
my
money
friend.
than the directors do. Yeah,
way
more money.
Negligible,
Whatever.
but it's definitely a higher caliber of person.
He was definitely a higher caliber, but I will say
I'm the upper peon.
We had more fun doing those courses than we should
God.
have, probably. I have some moments, my favorite moments, but do you have any that stick out? It's a long time ago, but any that you can remember? Because you had other people who did the training and stuff on camera.
Yeah, but
besides
you and
me,
I,
obviously.
you know what? I tell people this a lot. I have a small group of people that I've met. Can't remember when I met them. Can't remember.
I could have sworn you were going to say I can't remember them.
John is one of those people. I don't remember exactly when we met, but I don't remember my life without him. He's, just, it's one of those things where as soon as we met, we clicked and just became fast friends from day one. And I don't know, because he's as sick as I am. And so some of the things we used to do and some of the things we used to say were just, my friends still to this day get on me for crossing the line. I never had to worry about a line with John because there was no line.
There was no line.
It was jumping off the cliff, and I was always at the bottom ready to catch you.
Cliff. That's what it was.
I got you, buddy. Yeah.
I would have to say one of my favorite and most creative stories about us. So John, I say all this because John was very difficult to get off his game when he was on air.
Okay.
When the camera was on, John was on, and believe me, we tried to get him off his game. Now, as soon as we yelled cut, he was losing it, just like he's doing right now. But when the lights are on and the camera's rolling, he was ultimately professional. So my job as a producer was to try to screw him up as often as I could. Needless to say, I did not succeed. And one time we had Chris Bruder in the studio with us. He rerouted your monitor, and I had a magazine. It had to be like a bodybuilding magazine or something. And it's just some chick and her ass, and just something that any normal man would be like, hey, look at that. John stayed dead nuts on. So if we're talking about now, you've got a prompter in front of you. All you see is ass. And this guy kept going, did his thing, did not crack, did not break. But as soon as that camera went off, he lost it. And we tried. I think we were at GMU I was there for almost 8 years.
Yep.
And then the entire time, never cracked. And believe me, that was the most technologically advanced way to try to get him. But most of the time, I would just say the craziest shit in between, like, and then go, John, 5 seconds, and boom.
Just before we come out of video or something. My favorite part of that, and I always enjoyed that too, regardless of what someone might think that it was. Remember Eric, who worked with us?
Yes.
And and I'm not going to do anything other than to say, sorry, inside story. I will not divulge that.
Did you ever see the movie Picket Fences?
Okay. Anyway, he did something like that where I was on camera and I had the IFB in, so we must have been downtown. And and he's playing some porno track in my ear. I'm reading.
Nice.
And he's like, And thank goodness we had a video to go to. And I threw it to the video and I'm like this. And he shuts off my mic and he goes, "You are a god." Oh my
We
goodness.
tried everything possible and nothing ever worked.
Wow.
Hilarious. Oh
That's
my gosh.
fun.
But I loved
So,
it. It was just
a little bit.
fun.
I have a quick story with the porn music in the IFB. It's similar. It's not being a godlike person. So I work for a company called Small Business Television. It doesn't exist anymore. That's why I can talk about it. But we were doing a piece, small business piece, and the producer and I were sitting in the editing bay, and I'm putting it all together. And Susan, who's a really good friend of mine, comes in. She was the on-air talent, and she's like, "I don't like this. I don't like the music. Let's change the music." And we went through this about 5 or 6 times, and we were getting so annoyed, not necessarily upset with Susan, but just so annoyed that we had to keep changing the music that we couldn't find the right thing. We had the Debbie Does Dallas soundtrack. We downloaded that, the MP3, popped that under there. She came in and said, "Oh, I really like this. This is the track. This is what we need to use." The producer and I just kind of look at each other and like, should we tell her?
So she didn't. She couldn't hear it.
No, she did. No. I don't know if she's ever seen it before, but yeah, that was so the porn music. That was pretty funny. Anyways, that was my story. Go on. I want to hear some more.
That would have got him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why this happened this way, but yes, happy birthday to your mom. Make sure you tell her that. I did comment on Instagram.
Okay, that's part of the title here. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, that's fine. And
we do
maybe
a Debbie Does Dallas story, and then you say happy birthday, Mom.
That's
Thanks.
People are gonna misinterpret that, which is perfect for PoddiMouths.
Yes.
Should we talk about the G Unit shirt?
I'm hopefully I remember the story correctly.
I'll tell my side of it, and you can just judge how it was. So I would go, especially and it was Detroit. Usually, I was traveling to, and I would go and I'd stop at Marshall's or some place like that to get a deal on something. Right, TJ Maxx, get a deal on something, get cool looking shirts or whatever, and so I did. Another time I went to TJ Maxx probably, and I go to the men's section, and there are T-shirts over there, and I'm looking through, and this one is light blue, and it's kind of cool, and I don't know, I don't really pay attention to any of the pictures or anything on them. This one said G Unit, and apparently it's not really supposed to be for white men.
No. Because go ahead. I'll let you finish first.
But me, go ahead. I'm reaching across, always reaching across. And I wore it into a bar where Leonard and I were meeting. And he looks at me and he's like this. And I didn't even tell him about the Sean John underwear I was wearing, but but man, after he explained to me, you can't wear that. And yeah, I did, and I didn't really cover up or anything, but we were pretty much downtown Detroit. Not right downtown, but in the outskirts of Detroit.
Wow. Now, let me tell you,
not embarrassed at all.
No, God, no. But the issue was John is white, super duper,
not just
Wisconsin
a little
white. And so for him, I mean, he's been the on-air talent. He's always in a suit and tie. And then we go out to the bar afterwards, and he was still, kind of buttoned up. So for him to show up in a G Unit shirt, I just laughed at him because I knew he had no idea. He just picked it off and had a G on it, and he put it on. And it's not the fact that he couldn't wear it, because actually 50 Cent was discovered by Eminem. So you're in by the white guy.
There you go.
But just the fact that I knew he had no clue of what he was wearing, and he's just walking in.
See this great shirt, everyone? I got a great deal.
How's it going, everyone? Yeah.
So it was awesome. And then he threatened to send it to me in the mail afterwards. I'm like, no, it looks much better on you.
I think, you know what, the three of us, the next time we have a podcast together, we should get Q Unit shirts made.
Hey, we could just save some money and just get QNet.
Yeah, because that would save so much money.
It would. No dash. You would need a dash. You could leave that out.
Sounds like the only person who needs to see your QNet is your wife.
I will say it's very unique.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm sorry I even brought it up.
I bet you are.
Okay, so John, I got and Nick, go ahead.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead because you've got. I just want to know if you're going to get to the story. The story. The story is of all
I haven't heard
the
story. I'm ready.
Seriously, you can do one. I can't. You say the one, and I'm going to top it. Go.
No, it's not. This is the story.
Okay.
Let's see if I can give you some hints. Art gallery.
Yes, I have it. How about this?
The
Drank
story.
Himself gay.
Drank himself gay.
Oh,
Drank himself gay.
On.
I know the phrase, but I can't remember.
It was the same place that you had the drunk girl backpack.
Okay, that was Double Owl downtown.
Deluxe.
Oh, you're right. Deluxe. The Double Owl was in Dearborn. The drunk girl backpack. Good time.
Remember that?
I'm waiting, guys.
Okay, so the drunk girl backpack was something I saw. We had gone down to Detroit together. I know you're going to be surprised, listeners, but several cocktails, and one of our friends who was with us may have had a little bit too much to drink, and when we got outside of the door, and a friend of ours, by the way, was working the door, Billy. Love you, Billy. And so as we're walking out, Leonard forgot something inside, and he had to go back in. He said, Billy, that's what it was. It was, yes, her purse, not yours. You had a Merce, I think. And so he hooks her. She is just not standing well. He hooks her around Billy's neck like a clasp around Billy's neck. And while he goes in and gets the purse, and I look over at Billy, and he's just standing there with his
And he's
Billy
pissed.
face.
He's like, I got a drunk girl
He
on my
is
back.
not-
I got all these
not
people.
particular.
I got to check their IDs. He's just not having a good night.
He's got the drunk girl hanging on his neck while he's working the door. And it was only 2 or 3 minutes probably. And Leonard came back out and he takes her and she kind of does the same thing with him. And he goes, looked at me and said, I got a drunk girl backpack. It was one of my favorites of all
She
time.
doesn't remember any of that. So that's,
Well,
that's
shocker. Yeah.
What about, I think, same place. What about the guy who was puking outside by the parking meter?
Oh, yeah.
And I went next to him and started pretending like I was puking.
The guy was
Wow.
Nick, and this is not you being third wheel. This is you going, holy crap, all this stuff is real. The guy, and it was awesome. If you ever seen it, he's standing, I think, by a light pole or something, and holding on to it. He's kind of looking around, real casual like, and suddenly he leans over and just does a projectile vomiting into the street.
Ugh.
Yes.
And but he was like
that, you know,
was
his
like-
bold is just like a cat in heat.
it was like Elvis. He's kind of
Yes.
And Leonard proceeded to go up right where he was and imitate the same thing. Didn't do it, obviously, because he wasn't that hammered.
Well, I couldn't get the spew to come out.
Man, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. And I'm going to leave the Art Institute because that will be coming up before we're done. Because that to me is one of the classic Leonard moves ever.
I don't know that story, but I have heard reference to it.
Oh my
many
gosh!
times.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about it.
Is the
and
Art
the gym.
Institute the Art Institute in Chicago, or is this a different art?
No,
Institute?
this is actually in Windsor.
Okay,
And when,
Ontario.
Yeah, when we
All
were
right.
we were in Detroit and we crossed the border, and boy, they were happy we did. They were wishing we crossed the border to Taco Bell, I think, instead.
Yeah, they never invited
Yeah.
us back again.
Oh,
Really?
it was awesome.
The
Awesome.
Canadians didn't invite you back? I thought they were like, you're definitely not drunk enough yet.
Hard to believe. Yes, I know.
You've only had 10 beers. Oh, come on, guys.
It's a boot time.
Oh, it's about time. That was since I already mentioned it, and I'll be real quick. And Nick, if you want to pop in, please do. And Leonard, obviously too, you too. But you don't remember the guy drank himself gay at the bar? We were there, and he and his wife were talking about karaoke. You guys should go with us, and we could sing karaoke, and Leonard looked over at me, and there were nice people, and at the beginning of the night, it was just fun, but it turned into a karaoke thing, and he's like, has his arm on Leonard, and he looked at me and he said, that guy just
It's all
drank
coming
himself
back to me
gay.
now.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
right. Because we started out early in the evening, and he was all macho and manly, and we're buying drinks, and as the evening progressed, he just started getting a little more friendlier and friendlier. Not as friendly as the girl in Vegas. When
Yes, the
Wait,
Ohio
wait,
girl.
Yes, the
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
Yeah.
if you're legally allowed to tell that story though.
I probably
Because
not. because
whatever
what
happens in Vegas
happens
stays
in
in
Vegas.
Vegas. Exactly.
Man, Nick, well done.
That's a law, right? That's a
It
federal
is.
law.
It is sort of a law, and
It's definitely a law for married men. Single men, we run around telling people what happened in Vegas. Open up your pants. Look what I got.
yeah. I think my brother Bruce set a
Yes,
record
okay,
for
I do
Miller
remember
Lite
drinking. Yes,
consumption
he
too.
drank himself gay. I do remember that now.
That guy. Okay, good. All right,
Wow.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. This is great. This is a great time to throw it to you for some anti-John stories.
Oh, I don't know any I have a Wisconsin story.
All right.
I'll try to refrain from saying the names of those involved.
Oh,
To protect
good
the
luck with
innocent.
To protect the innocent, even though he doesn't even live in this country anymore. It has no comparison to your stories whatsoever. But I was at a graduation party, and I was with a really good friend of mine, and my parents were there as well in Wausau, Wisconsin. And we had a little bit too much fun, and there was a tornado warning and all this stuff. And we went back to our hotel room, and it was this hotel that's circular. So you had two rooms that you could have next to each other that were individual rooms, or you could close the main outside door and have two rooms, or one big room, which is what we did. And my buddy and I were in one room, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I sat up and I looked over, and it was the door, his bed, my bed, and he wasn't in bed. And I hear water running, or what I thought was water running. And I sit up and I look, and there he is peeing on the door, on the front door. And I'm like, dude, you're peeing on the door. And he's like, no, I'm not. And he keeps going,
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know what else to say. And he finishes, zips up, walks into the bathroom, flushes the toilet, washes his hands, and goes back to bed.
Wow.
That's why they call it Wausau.
Exactly.
And you were drinking what exactly?
Yeah.
Have no idea. So someone had spiked the because there was a melon ball bowl out, and everyone was popping. Man, these are the best melon balls we've ever had. And it was a bunch of us. And then someone admitted to spiking the melon balls along with all the beer and other various.
With like heroin or what?
No, I think it was just vodka and rum. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You got to like the alternate site peeing.
Yes. And the kicker was
the conversation.
flushing the toilet. Yeah, the conversation was good too. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. That
It's a good
I think
comeback.
I've got one similar, and it's a quick story. I was dating this chick, and I was drunk. She picked me up from the bar. Now, before buddies came over, I had made some food. We had chicken parm, pasta. I made all this food. We're going to the bar. We're all loaded up. Let's go. So we go to the bar. Some ungodly hour, still doing shots. I don't know how I got there, but I needed a ride home. So I call her up, come pick me up. She came to pick me up, brought me home, and stayed over. I'm like, okay, cool. So as far as I know, I passed out. I wake up in the morning, and I look to the side of the bed, and there is just a Art Deco style painting beside the wall of orange and red.
Oh no.
And so, mind you, on my side of the bed, I realize that it's puke all on the side of the bed. And I roll over and like, what the hell? You puked on my wall? She's like, no, you idiot. You woke up in the middle of the night, you yacked on the wall, and went back to sleep. Then I proceed to say, and you stayed here?
Wow.
If some chick or anybody,
That's love.
That is love.
I'm out of there. Yeah, she stayed. So obviously, I went back to sleep, and so did she. I'm like, but yeah, it was,
gosh.
Crazy.
That's awesome. And the best part is you looking at her and going, did you puke on my wall?
right on my side of the bed. So that means she leaned over or walked around, puked on the wall, and then went back on her side of the bed.
That's awesome.
God awful.
Oh boy.
Gosh. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like the story episode.
That is a
episode's good.
We might not be able to air it, but it's not too bad. I mean,
we
I'm
can
fine. I'm fine.
air
I
it.
can air my side of it. I don't know
Heaven's
about you
sakes.
guys.
Well, your side is like
Oh, that's right.
snoring.
We're telling your mom not to listen to this one, right?
Oh, she can. I don't do anything that she doesn't know about.
That she was
Probably. I guess.
I stayed.
Hey, so people don't think it's all just drinking and partying and so on. We've been to the gym a few times. Yes.
Yes.
This guy. So are you still a gym boy?
Me?
Yes.
No, his name
Of
is
course.
Leonard.
Yes.
You see all the
Okay.
stuff I bake. I have to go to the
So
gym.
that's what I was wondering. That's the other part of you not eating it. You're so disciplined. You'll go, oh, I can't have this.
Yeah.
So
It's
you'll
kinda
make these
stupid.
wonderful fritter things or something. And anyway, but we
Remember the
had
lard
so
comment.
much fun.
Yes,
The lard
remember the
comment
lard.
was amazing. Yeah.
I did go out and buy lard though.
I think
You
yeah,
did? Nice.
yeah. Because nothing is the same. Once
No.
you start cooking with that stuff, aside from the impending heart disease,
Yes.
nothing tastes nearly that good. But we went to the gym a few times, and Leonard is not
We're
afraid
talking about
to
eggs.
try anything. That's what we should talk about too. Our friend Ed, who was also a production assistant, or what was his gig?
He was our boss, so he was kind of like the manager,
Okay,
as it
Gee.
were.
Let's
So programming
before we go
manager.
on,
yeah.
let's talk about how John brings everyone down a level from their actual titles. You know,
Oh,
you were,
yeah, you
you were
noticed
like
that,
a
huh?
your content director. No, I was the producer. He was the
I
PA.
didn't
No, he was
want
our
to.
boss.
Okay, so I just wanted to be clear on that, and I'd like to start low and then sell high. That's what you're
I
supposed to
see.
do.
I see. Okay.
So
All right,
Leonard
go on.
took
I
him to the
apologize.
gym. Did I go that time with
Oh
you?
yeah, you went.
Okay, all right. I think I did.
We were both on a mission.
We were doing a curl exercise that we had done several times before to our own
10 up, 10
detriment.
down.
Yeah, and we wanted to
Okay.
decided to do it with our friend Ed, who was, come on, I can keep up with you guys, and so on. And so, and what it amounts to is it's an empty bar, and I don't remember exactly what we used, but it didn't matter. It's an empty bar, and you are doing curls with it while the other guy is holding on for dear life with all his weight on it. And
The
you
resistance.
obviously the resistance, but it was just with an empty bar, and it was amazing. Like it was an easy bar or something like that. So we would do it, and the other guy's going, come on, come on, come on, and either relieving some tension or adding tension to make the curls happen. And to 10, and we'd count them down. Long story, but it was you would know it at the end of the workout. You would know it the next day, and the next day, and maybe the next day after that one. Well, we decided to give Ed a try on that, and we all three did it. It was great. I mean, 'cause it's a good pump. But what did Ed say? Was it the next day? Or
I did see him the next day. He could not scratch his own ass. He couldn't move his arm. It was just like an amputee. But he did it to himself. Now, again, the one thing about John and I is that we struck up such a friendship that a lot of people wanted to be in on it. They want to hang out with us, or they wanted to go to gym because they'd hear all these crazy stories. Well, the only reason it worked is because I think at the time I was the only single guy there. Everybody else was married or engaged, or they were going down that road, so they couldn't go out after work and either go to the gym and hang out or whatever. But they'd hear all these stories. And Ed was, I think it's before he married his wife. They were dating, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I can hang with you guys and this, that," and it was a dork. The only way to put it, he's just a complete dork. So if John and I were seniors in high school, he would be a freshman, and we'd be kicking his books down the hall.
I never did that, for the record. I never.
And so we didn't want him to go. Because we knew what was going to happen. We knew how it was all going to end. But if you really want to do this, then come on. And we just abused him mercilessly.
He didn't shave for a week. He tried to.
Yeah,
get his,
I said, he couldn't scratch his own ass. But yeah, he was hurting, and we thought it was hilarious because it was.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
He never asked to come work out with us again.
No, he didn't.
Not.
No, but to be fair, you and I did a couple of those sometimes too. Where remember the dumbbell lunges?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've never done dumbbell lunges, grab a couple of 35-pound dumbbells probably, and then do 3 or 4 sets of 10. And it's a it's a lunge where you kick back, so it's in place. You don't actually walk. It's not the walking lunge. It's the one spot. Well, he hadn't tried them before, and we did that one time. And he called me because we were in different studios. Called me and he said, "I can't even shit." He gets down to the John. I mean, it hurts so bad. You get down to the John, and you just go, "Ah!" And people think it's a whole different thing that's going on in there, but no, it's just the act of sitting down.
Well, you can't share that with anybody else who doesn't know anything about working out. So I can only share it with you. If I called somebody else and go, "Oh, my ass hurt," they'd be like, my mom's like,
"Oh, wow."
What? You know, she's subscribed. She watches all of these podcasts.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she will now.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna
right.
Yeah.
Your mom looks great, by the way. What a sweetie. That picture you posted was amazing.
She's my buddy. Well, she's my girl now since I'm single 3, almost 4 years now. So,
Show off.
Yeah, wow. Single has always single has looked good on you for a long time. You are, there are some people, and I won't point fingers, some people, and probably him, who are not as good on their own as others. You have always been fully capable of being fine on your own, and you're amazing like that. There is no doubt.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, well,
you weren't singing that same song when I took a sabbatical from sex for a whole year. You remember that?
Not as much as you do, I
bet. Instead of being a supportive friend, you're like, "Oh no, you're gonna do her. You're gonna do this." You're just like, "Really, dude? No, I'm taking some time out. No way." And so just like I'm on a diet, and the fat guy comes by with a whole bunch of cake. You got to eat this. It's great.
So that guy, if that fat guy had a bunch of women with him, I could see that. But the whole cake, no.
He did. Yeah, he ate them all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But with all the cooking that you're doing, you probably won't be single long.
Right.
Well, again, the problem with that is that being a svelte, fit man, cooking only attracts fat chicks, and I just...
Wow. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leonard is single. He can get away with that crap.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, the last one I want to make sure
my wife definitely can't listen to this episode. Go ahead.
Yes, she can. I want to touch on the Art Institute because a friend of ours who was also a producer at the studios.
Well, look, you got it right that time.
Wow. Well, I was going to say,
I got crap. You guys are giving me trouble,
producer?
so I want to. No. So she was also an artist, Sandy, and oh my gosh. All right, really quick, Sandy, a side story, because you got to do that while you're in the middle of another story. She had a party at her house.
It wouldn't be PoddiMouths without that.
Were you ever, I'm not sure if you were at that party, Leonard, or not, but she had a party and people came across the border to Windsor, and it was fun. She had, I think it was her Beaujolais party where it's the young wine and blah, blah, blah. But you remember Mike was there, my buddy Mike Shalak, who was also one of the bosses at the studios. And Mike went into the bathroom and came out. And Sandy had these 2 rugs in the bathroom with no rubber backing on them. And so you'd stand there, dudes, to pee on it, and the rugs would start to separate as you're peeing. And so Mike came out and told the story, and I laughed and laughed. And I went in there, and sure enough, that's kind of how it was. And I came out and I told Sandy kind of what happened and fed her. And so she comes into the living room. She puts her hands on her hips, looks at Mike and said, "Mike, did you just pee all over my bathroom?" And he looks at me and he goes, "You son of a bitch." But it was awesome because it's just and guys, you know what I'm talking about. You can just do the separation of the legs.
You just start going slow.
You're catching a guy from a throw from third base by the time you're done, because you're doing the splits. So that was Sandy and
Oh,
Sandy's
boy.
place, and she was a great sport. Also a really good artist, and she invited us to come to this show that she was going to be at, and we went and saw it, and it's at the
Big
very
mistake.
nice Art Institute in Windsor, and we found it somehow and parked not where we were supposed to. Didn't really matter. We went in somehow. We got in. They had cocktails, so we were having cocktails and talking.
Now, you and I got there early. We got there before anybody else.
Yes, we were one of the first ones in because I don't know, we were on Eastern time, maybe.
We
in our
heard there was
heads, I'm
alcohol.
not sure. That's correct. So tell him what happened, and then the 5-year-old boy.
It was a girl.
Whatever.
Wow. So much for getting the story right. Why am I telling this?
Because
So there was all these different art installations. So it wasn't just art on the wall. There was, just stuff, different things. And we came upon this well, I guess is the only way I can describe it.
it was
It's
just really
a
shiny.
shiny black
Yeah.
substance or surface.
Okay.
And so you ever see Space Odyssey and the two monkeys?
Yeah.
To the Dawn of Man?
Yeah.
That was John and I, just two monkeys trying to figure some shit out. What is
The
it?
monolith.
Yes. And so he was determined that it was a hard, flat surface. I was determined that it was liquid. How are we going to figure this out? So, dumbass, that's me, decides to stick my finger in. So I stick my finger in the substance, and it's stuck to my finger. So now I just got a whole
It's like motor oil.
scoop, and he's just pissing himself.
5W40.
And it's like the original thing where it gets on you and eats you away. So I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this? So I don't know why, but we left that area because there was different floors.
And went
you
up the
remember
stairs.
Ghostbusters
That's
with
it.
Bill Murray
Ah!
got slime on his finger.
Uh-huh.
I did that all over the art gallery trying to get this stuff off my. So
He
there's
even did.
markings on the wall.
Oh no.
There's markings on the wall, just everywhere. As I'm trying to get this stuff off my finger.
And we're laughing uproariously. And I know there was one of the guards who goes, "You fellas okay?" And we're, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're fine."
So
That was great.
later on, people start showing up. So I'm spending the rest of my time trying to get this stuff off my finger. And so people are showing up, and this couple shows up with kids. And we're standing by that same pool, and the little girl's looking in there, and they're trying to figure it out. All of a sudden, she takes her whole arm and just jams it. all the
Oh
way down
no.
to here, and just pulls out this big claw of.
She
And I
had
told John, "See?"
oil
And he's like, John's like, yeah,
the
she's
elbow.
6 years old, and you're supposedly a grown adult. But yeah, she just had
But it was beautiful.
all of it.
He looks at me and he goes, "See?" It was the best. I'm going, yeah, well, you're right.
But
Oh,
they're
wow.
probably still trying to get that stuff off the gallery walls because I was just like Bill Murray. I was like, whoa.
Well, the
Did you
good
guys
news
ever
is
find
they-
out what it was?
Well, they blamed it on the
No.
6-year-old girl. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah, it was like motor
She
oil.
did
It looked like motor oil. Yeah, Leonard pointed at
Yeah,
it.
it was oily, but it was dark and it was clingy, and
Ugh.
yeah. But yeah, she
God.
just jammed her whole arm
Oh,
in there.
Best. It was the
It was
best.
awesome.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I don't think-
Okay, that one might have been one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That
That's
was-
a very good one. And that's wow. Wow. I don't even know where to go from there.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's any place to go.
How would
No.
I think
The good
Wow.
news is, Leonard,
Why
next
we
time
didn't
when
get
we
kicked
have
out
you
of the
back,
one?
we won't have anything else to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure that's
Really?
false. So we're gonna have to
Are
plan
you
another
sure?
one very soon. Folks,
Oh,
I think
God.
you need to stick around for future episodes and just hope that Leonard shows up on one of the future episodes because we're not going to let you know when he's coming. He's just going to be there. But if you want to listen to some of the past episodes, this episode, and any of the future episodes, head up to wah.poddimouths.com.
Nice.
Do you want to share with Leonard why it's wah? That's not as
Because
funny as of a story, but
he used to say W. He used to say WWW. and
just
I'm
to
like,
be annoying.
stop it! You don't have to do that.
At least I
And
didn't
then
go
he says,
dub.
How about this? Wah. I said, yep, do it. That's
Wow.
perfect.
Yep.
Wah.
So
It's going to
wah,
go
wah,
viral
wah.
someday
Yeah. It has already, I'm sure.
after we're dead.
I've sworn off social media, so I just don't know.
Oh, well, good for you. That's great. That's going to get
No,
lots
I
of
really
viewers.
haven't. Exactly. Leonard, thank you so much for being here. The stories were phenomenal, and I look forward to
That's
the
just the
next set of
beginning.
stories, or the next set of lawsuits, if whichever you choose
Lawsuits, yes. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, gentlemen, I have to go take my wife on a date, and
Yep.
I
You get to.
Where we going?
get to Jennifer. Sorry if you're listening to this. I get to go on a date with you, which is
Yeah, we'll
very,
meet
very
you.
true.
We'll meet
But-
you. He's in
Okay.
Nashville. Let's go.
You can take
Yeah,
Jen and I
it's-
along.
Kind of, yeah. You meet in the middle.
She would never
Sure.
ask you to take her out again if you took John and I with you.
Well, there
That's
might be some truth to
guaranteed.
that.
that is probably accurate. Or
Hey,
she
we
would
can-
be the ringleader of
She might be that too.
yeah.
See, we could just meet in Paducah. That's triangulated, I think.
Yeah, but there aren't any really good restaurants in Paducah.
Oh, darn it. Okay, never
Well,
mind
I'll
then.
just cook something and bring it.
Perfect.
Now
Done.
we're talking.
Problem solved, folks. We're gonna head off. We're gonna all three of us head towards Paducah, and
Paducah.
we'll see you next week.
We'll call
You
it the
have a great
Paducah Puka.
Oh, geez.
Caca!
Maybe that's gonna be the new episode name.
The Paducah Puka.